Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Tuesday. This is Devils After Dark, providing the therapy session for you New Jersey Devils fans. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, Twitch, on the Let's Go Devils Network, coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios inside the bunker in an undisclosed location, beautiful New Jersey, and cross-continent to the Michael J. Fox Studios in Beverly Hills, California. It's Scotty of SiriusXM Liquid Metal.
Well, hello, sir. How's it going? You'll love your therapy voice there. You'd make a great doctor.
No, I feel like screaming right now, and I'm saving it for the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition here at Devils After Dark. Scotty, along with the king of the football call, Sam by God Woo. I'm talking about I think someone who had it over here. Wimpy, a wicked stinker. That's what it was. Today's effort against the lowly and eliminated from the playoffs Boston Bruins, but who still do have themselves some good players and are not going to roll over and die. As the Devils found out tonight, and as the Carolina Hurricanes found out the other night. As Boston's now rattled off 2 in a row. And what else was this? The curse of 4 in a row. It's been, 2 years since we've won 4 in a row now, since 2023, that we've had a 4-game winning streak going on. We were so close numerous times, and once again tonight, man, did the boys fall short. So let's do a quick recap of this lackluster effort, and we'll get to Sam Woo's takes, and of course you on the YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. That's right there. Max needed a fight. Where the hell is Big Mac? But either way, let's talk about this game over here. Boston Bruins coming down to the Rock for a slobber knocker. Let's say that. And we know that Boston has had themselves a tough year. Devils have been looking a lot better. Looks like they have righted the ship. Got 3 big wins in a row, 2 against Minnesota, a massive victory against the New York Rangers. And it could have been a little bit of an emotional letdown, off of the Ranger game. The Devils haven't played a lot lately, so you think they would be well rested. But it's either A, emotional letdown, B, curse of the 4-game winning streak, or C, oh shit, we need to panic. So I think it's more of a combination of A and B, and this is one they should just kind of, sweep under the rug and move forward against the Pittsburgh Penguins on Friday. But still, the Bruins basically dominated this game through the first period. My first period notes, meh. M-E-H. That's what I have written here. For second period, meh. Until about 5 minutes. There was about 5 minutes there where the Devils were unbelievable. 2 penalty kills, and then you get a 17-second span where the Devils get 2 back-to-back goals. Now, they're already down 3-0. Pasternak got one. Callahan got one. They got another one there early in the second period, and then, finally, on a delayed penalty, the Devils break the ice for themselves, and Darren Sprong getting some extra time from Sheldon Keefe Richards on the, out there on the ice. He's been looking a lot more comfortable since the trade. And that line of Sprong, Glass, and Cotter did have themselves a good game today. But Sprong gets on the ice there in a delayed penalty. And man, the Devils had relentless pressure at this point. Keeping the puck possession. They were retrieving all the loose pucks, beating, the Bruins to all of those battles along the boards and the loose pucks, like I just said. And they just kept it in the zone for quite some time. And eventually you get Nico Hischier creeping down the wing, and you get Sprong down at the side of the net, and Stefan Nason is parked in front. And Nico sends a pass to Sprong, and he's got his back turned to Swayman, and he's able to get the puck put it on his backhand, and then a no-look backhand pass right out in front to Stefan Nason, who's then able to put it right around Swayman for his 21st goal of the year. I believe that's the big 4-0 in the points column for Stefan Nason, which of course is a career high. Sprong gets his fourth assist of the year, and another apple for the captain, Nico Hischier, his 32nd at 13:51 of the second period. And you're thinking, okay, 3-1. All right, game's not over yet. Maybe they're going to turn it up a little bit. And 17 seconds later, look at your watch, and oh boy, it's Timo time again. 10 goals since March the 1st. And this one was really made happen by Dawson Mercer having some good hard forecheck there. And then Eric Halla, eventually gets the puck, kind of does a little turn and burn shot, and it bounces up and hits Timo time and into the back of the net. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me goals from Timo Meier. Ooh, yeah. And don't look now. We know he's had a rough season, but Timo Meier's got 25 goals. So glad to see that he is starting to get things righted, as we're heading to the playoffs. Old Eric Halla gets the lone assist right there, his 9th, 3-2 Bruins. And now you think, okay, completely different game. Now all of a sudden, after those 2 penalty kills, these 2 goals, actually looks like the Devils are playing Devils hockey and not just sleepwalking through it. But then, man, a lucky bounce by a Casey Middlestat shot really just kind of turned the tables against the Devils. This was just kind of a lucky, bad puck bounce here, some bad puck luck. And you're talking about a long range, just kind of, Middlestat was getting chased back out to the blue line and just kind of like takes it and flings it at the net. Seamus Casey, maybe I'll trade it in for a new hat, is there in the lane where he's supposed to be. He gets a stick on it, but he ends up turning it into a knuckle puck, which then basically hits Markstrom, I don't know, in the bicep or the armpit there, kind of. You didn't even see it. You can see like his head didn't even move until the puck hit him, and then it kind of shoots down in between his arm and his leg. Like, damn it to hell. It puts Boston back up 4-2, and then, they tack on 3 more in the third period, where the Devils were obviously just kind of sleepwalking through and probably thinking, oh boy, just get this game over with now. The final score was 7-2 on the day. Shots on goal for the Devils, 10-7-4. Like I said, that third period was rough for a total of 21. The Bruins, 11-8-6 for a total of 25. Other than that, Devils, both teams were 0-4s, got the old Jersey everything bagel with cream cheese there on the power play. Bruins 0-2, Devils 0-1. Bruins actually won the face-off battle today against the Devils, 26 wins to the Devils 21. Devils out hit the Bruins 24-15. 12 block shots for the Devils. An ugly 16 giveaways again. And just craptastic game over here. But I wouldn't listen. My hypothetical panic button is going to remain pushed for the remainder of the season, because once I push said button, they started playing a hell of a lot better. So I'm going to keep my panic button pushed, even though the Devils are almost, very, very close to being locked up into a playoff position. If the Rangers lose to the Flyers tomorrow, they clinch. And then I think if the Rangers beat the Islanders also, I think they clinch a playoff spot on Thursday. So, I think we're going to be okay. It's going to be fine. You got Pittsburgh coming in on Friday, another team that you should beat. And then, next week, we're going to get some revenge on these Boston Bruins because we do play them one more time, along with the Icelanders. Do we play the Rangers again? Is that who it is? I can't even remember now off the top of my head.
Red Wings. Red Wings.
Oh, Red Wings. I'm sorry, the Red Wings. So, yeah, it was not a good game. It was pretty ugly, but it just kind of feels like it was just one of those nights. I say don't freak out over it. If they come back and they do the same exact effort against the Pittsburgh Penguins on Friday, then it won't be a hypothetical panic button push. It'll be the real panic button push because they should come out. You remember that SNL sketch with Chris Farley where they switch his coffee and they don't tell him that he's drinking decaf? And he's like, what? You son of a bitch. And they're like, how did you feel afterwards? Angry. That's how the Devils should feel after this game. And the Pittsburgh Penguins should be in for a whooping come this Friday night at the Rock. And if it's not that way, then we got some issues here. But I think this might just be one of those games after the big emotional battle where they absolutely cremated their arch rival New York Rangers and blew them out of the water on their home ice. I think it might just be a little bit of an emotional letdown, but come playoff time, you have to be able to work through those things because you don't have a bunch of other games to just kind of catch up on and say, oh, okay. No, it's a series. It's a 7-game series. That's it. You lose one and then you have, a complete stink effort in the next. You're down 0-2, and that's not good. That is not good. So hopefully they use this as a learning experience to be able to rebound after those big emotional highs and still come back out the next game with the full effort, not for just 5 minutes, but for the full 60-minute effort, which we know we've seen that issue with this team over the course of the season. But honestly, I wouldn't be too worked up about this game tonight. But I know Sam Woo is. And he is also like Chris Farley after they switched his coffee for decaf. Angry. And he's got a lot to talk about. And I know you might be as well. You may not agree with my opinion, and that's totally fine. That's why we have this show. So we can discuss things and go over it and get everyone's point of view. That's why we have our wonderful YouTube chat and Facebook chat and everything else. X and Instagram. Comment away. But I know one man in a Penn State hat is not a happy camper. And he even said so afterwards. Before we started this show, he says, you mind if I get a little crazy tonight? And I said, Sam Woo, you're always able to get crazy whenever you want. As long as Mrs. Woo approves of it, you can get as crazy as you feel necessary. So now, without further ado, we turn it over to the man, the myth, the legend. He's a catch. Mrs. Woo has reeled him in. The king of the football calls himself, Sam, by God, Woo!
It's really sad that the folks in the YouTube Live want a Boston Bruins touchdown call because that's how bad this game was. That's bad. They want a touchdown call for the opposition. I don't know, Scotty. I mean, this game, with the exception of maybe 17 seconds,
I'll give him the 2 penalty kills. I'll say 5 minutes. I'll give him those 2 penalty kills as well.
5 minutes was so pathetic on so many levels. I felt like the Devils took 5 steps back. I was not on my A game. I've been wearing the Penn State hat during that 3-game winning streak. And I decided, I'm going to change it up and go back to the Devils hat for Game Day Live. And what happened? They got shellacked, so I'm back to the Penn State hat. Okay. Hoping that my Nittany Lions will win on Thursday, and then I'll have to have that discussion Thursday night with Mrs. Woo. Are we going to St. Louis or not for Saturday for the national championship game, Frozen 4, thing. But that's besides the point. You win 3 in a row. Impressive victories over the Minnesota Wild. You beat the New York Rangers. You beat them down so hard that they don't even have playoffs in their mind. That's how you beat them into submission, the New York Rangers. You're riding high. And now you're playing the Boston Bruins, who have already been eliminated. You've got all these people. Sam, are you going to the game? Sam, are you going to the game? Sam, are you going to the game? We're all
want
going
their
to the
selfies.
Game.
They want their Sam Woo selfies.
And you know what I have to say to that? The fans showed up, but the Devils didn't. Pathetic. Be honest with you, I don't think anybody should be paid tonight except for Strong.
You're going to dock them?
You got to dock them. You got to hold them accountable.
You know what
I demand David Blitzer to withhold their paychecks. I know that the NHLPA would have a problem with it, but withhold their paychecks. That'll teach them. They look so bad, Scotty, that Sheldon Keefe was like, he had the look on like, this is a waste of my time. And there was no emotion. There was no urgency. It was just little. I'll just tap you with my stick. Leaving Markstrom all alone. I mean, he wasn't on his A game either, but you can't fault him on some of these shots that were on goal. I mean, they were just.
I think this should have been a Jake the Snake game, to tell you the truth.
It should have been. And because there's so much time in between games that, I mean, they only played one game in 8 days?
Two now, but yeah.
Yeah. But, so they didn't have that energy. They were not focused, as per usual, on that trying to go for their 4-game winning streak. Lesson learned. I mean, this has got to be the last time that they pull this crap off because it's not going to be good in the playoffs. You can't recover from that. That's a demoralizing loss to the Boston Bruins. And you know why the Bruins won? You know why? Because they got kids on that team that are playing for jobs for next season. They were hungry.
Well,
they were very
do have
hungry.
Some good players, too. I mean, David Pastrnak is, he was all over the ice tonight, and he broke 100 points. So even in a bad Bruins year, he's still putting up the points.
Yeah, but some of these kids were putting up points as well because they want jobs next year. Swayman is a world-class goaltender. So
Zadorov.
Yeah.
I mean, they it's surprisingly how bad Boston has been this year, but the Devils should have beat them tonight. They should have wiped the floor with them. But they just did the same thing to Carolina, too. So
now, did Carolina lose to the Buffalo Sabres? They were down 3-0.
I'm looking right now.
Yeah, why don't you look right now?
They did.
Yeah.
Oof.
So that's the only thing that made me feel better, Scotty. That's the only thing that made me feel better is the Carolina Hurricanes, who presumably,
I've lost 3 in a row now.
Yeah. So we both suck. So you got Pittsburgh on Friday. They got to come in with their A game. They got to have a better effort. You got Wednesday and Thursday to figure this thing out. Practice. And then you got the Islanders afternoon game on Sunday. Then you go to Boston next Tuesday to get your revenge. And I would expect them to poke at the bear when they play Boston. And then you got your home finale of the regular season against Detroit at The Rock. We'll be there at American Whiskey. Oh.
Well, you just need I see. All right. The Icelanders have 6 games left. Devils literally need either one loss from the Rangers, the Blue Jackets, or the Icelanders. Or they literally need 1 point. Because now, the Rangers would have to win every game and the Devils would have to lose every game. Because the Devils are at 89. The Rangers are at 79. So are the Blue Jackets. They're at 79 points as well. And the Red Wings, but Red Wings don't matter because they can only get to the wild card.
The sad thing is they needed one measly point tonight. And they
1 point!
Which, I can see the Devils right now up 3-1 in the series, and then they lay an egg. Like tonight.
And we're not talking like the cool bald eagle eggs at the at Big Bear Mountain over here in California.
No.
No. These are bad eggs. Bad eggs over there.
Yeah. But seriously.
Yeah, I mean, the Senators clinched despite the loss. Oh, did they clinch? I guess they are. Do they have a little... maybe just the NHL app isn't updated yet until tomorrow or something. I think they... Yeah, the Senators... Yeah, the Sens got 90 points. They're clinched. No one can catch them now. Yeah, because the Red Wings, the Rangers, and the Blue Jackets can only get to... Oh, wait, I guess technically the Icelanders, because they have 6 games left. Right? And they have 78 points. So if the Sens lose out and the Icelanders win out, I guess they can do a little flipperoo right there still. Yeah.
It sucks.
All we
Scotty.
needed was 1 point. Needed 1 point, Sam Woo. Just 1 friggin' point.
I have friends that don't follow hockey, but suddenly they're like, hey, how about them Devils? They're looking good. Your Mets are doing well. Penn State ice hockey's doing well. You're living the dream, Sam. Till tonight, when I got totally disappointed, just like everybody else. Got disappointed with this team. And you know what's even worse? I can't even blame it on Nemitz. I can't even blame it on him.
He wasn't in the lineup, yeah.
Yeah. Now, you know what? He should have been in the lineup. This is a game where he should be playing.
Your new Damon Severson.
Yeah. Wouldn't have mattered anyway if he played or not. Because he stunk it up.
Yeah, so, hey, what's up, Ted? Hey, everybody, by the way. Jared and Serve and Wimpy and Selecta, Robert Isaacson, Max, of course, our resident statistician, Stephen Angle. Stephen Angle was calling this as a letdown game. I saw Insane Pollock on here said the exact same thing, primed for a letdown game after the Rangers, which I can see, but still, you want them to have that killer instinct. All they needed was 1 point. Sorry, Sean, no touchdown Bruins.
You want to know something, Scotty? If this were the Florida Panthers tonight playing
Ariel too. Yep, go ahead.
Playing the Boston Bruins. You know what they would have done if they were down 3-0?
What's that?
They would have dropped the gloves and try to change the momentum of the game.
I mean, that's what Dano and Salvador were saying, Bryce were saying. They're like, if this was back in the day, there's no way there wouldn't be any fights in a 7-2 game. And I completely agree.
I would be crashing into the goalie, getting him, I would take a penalty, interference penalty on the goalie just to get him off his game. You got to do something. And they were just standing around on the ice all night long.
Yeah.
They were just like poking. I'm going to poke that puck away instead of taking the body. They didn't use their speed for the most part. They look sluggish. They look hungover tonight. That's what it looked like.
Yep. Judas over here. Don't get too ahead. Don't get too ahead.
They were not prepared tonight.
Kennedy. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, I honestly, I do think a lot of this was just a letdown game after the Rangers, but I also think they expected the Bruins to come in and just,
Fold.
Yeah, and that they're not going to do that. They are not going to do that.
They looked hungover.
Jared, yeah, no emotion tonight. Like, can we borrow a phrase from Mr. Keith Hernandez? I don't know if anyone caught this the other night when the Mets were playing, when they went into extra innings and they didn't score, and it came back early. And Keith's mic was hot. He just goes, piss poor inning right there.
Yeah, well, that was a piss poor period.
That was a piss poor performance, save for that 5 minutes there in the second period from the Devils. But, yeah. It was a theme night? What was the theme night? I didn't even know.
WWE, I believe.
Oh, it was WWE night? Oh, okay.
I believe.
Was Ric Flair there?
Probably not. It would cost the team a lot of money.
That as well, yeah. Well, hopefully maybe they were passing out championship belts a little bit too soon there in the locker room. But they gotta straighten this out, which they can. I hope they take a nice look in the mirror, and I hope Sheldon Keefe Richards practices them pretty hard tomorrow. Make them do some sprints for their lackluster effort, because they have to learn how to play in these games when you are going to have an emotional letdown after a big, big victory over your arch rival. You got to follow that up. That's all part of becoming a championship team. Not letting these little obstacles get in the way. Especially when it really matters. Like, let's wrap this bad boy up and put that little X next to, or put that little, what do they have there on the, yeah, they got an X. Put that little X next to our name as clinched a playoff position. Let's see it.
That's what I plan to do with my Twitter handle. I'll have X dash.
They need to realize that easy teams are never easy. That's a good point, Kennedy. Max says, I need to see a blood-stained igloo after the next game. ECW style, Wimpy. That's right.
But he said NWA was better. Is he talking about the rap group?
I think they were talking about some of the old hip hop there before. But yeah, I mean, but the thing is, like, the Bruins really aren't an easy team, quote unquote. They've just had a really, like, weird off year. But they still have even in this year of struggles, Pasta still broke 100 points tonight. So, like, they still have their superstars there. That will go out and hurt you if you want to go and sleepwalk through the games. Now, again, I'm keeping my hypothetical panic button pushed, but if the Devils come out on Friday and they aren't incredibly pissed off by their performance tonight and absolutely demolish the Pittsburgh Penguins, then we got some real issues. Because they should be angry with this performance. No need to dwell on it, but don't forget about it either. You want to be a perennial playoff team? Wrap it up. Clinch the spot. You only need 1 point. What have we talked about all year? Put the nail in the coffin on these teams. Why are you letting the Rangers and the Islanders and the Blue Jackets hang around? You need 1 win. 1 point. Just a tie. Get it to overtime. They better get this done. D-U-N, done. Friday night.
D-U-N?
It's something one of my old friends used to say. D-U-N, done.
I was about to say, done? They're saying that I should go into the locker room and shout at them for 3 hours.
That's one of Sam Woo's season ticket perks, if you don't know. Sam has suggested the team offer be the head coach for the day. And Sam has been more than willing to be said head coach for any day. And, wow. If Sam was the coach today, I would not want to be in that locker room.
Oh, I'd make them get on the exercise bike for the next 2 hours.
Salad would be flying everywhere.
Yeah.
There would just be tomatoes and greens. I mean, they're probably, Sam's salad usually comes with a hamburger as well and maybe a rack of ribs, but whatever.
I usually take that off and then I throw the rest.
Oh, man.
We should cut them off from their families if they're not going to be focused.
We should cut them off from their Are you going to go Lou Lamb style?
Yeah.
Everyone in the hotel.
Yeah.
No contact with anybody for the rest of the season.
I'll call up and tell their kids, "Where's Daddy?" "Daddy is in the hotel room."
Shave your beards, no more facial hair, and get to the hotel rooms now.
"Daddy let down the team and let down his family. They got to go out and figure out how to win."
Oh, man. Serve, and you're right. If they don't come out hungry and angry, Sidney Crosby's going to hurt them. Because Pittsburgh is another team that's got a whole slew of superstars over there that just, for some reason, not having a great year. But they've got plenty of people on that roster that can make a big impact in a game.
Well, let's say this, because Serve made a nice comment here. "I'm going to watch post-game interviews to hear the same excuses. We just need to move on to the next game." Yeah, we need reporters to hold these players accountable, not be trolls. But one question I want to ask is...
You would love to be a troll if you were in the locker room doing
I would ask tough questions.
You would ask troll questions all the time.
I would be softball questions. It'd be hardball questions. Be like, "Hey, Nico, you're the captain of the team. Why the lackluster energy and lack of enthusiasm tonight?" And he'd say, "Hey, we didn't come out and do our best." "Yeah, but why? Did you do something?"
Sam Woo's press credentials get revoked midway through the...
"Were you guys hungover? You look like..." I almost said the S word. "You look like crap."
So it's okay. It's all right.
"Hey, Holla." I don't know. I was gonna. Yeah, I mean,
Kennedy, I think you have an idea here. Maybe we can somehow, some way, get Sam Woo some, right behind the bench playoff tickets or something like that, just so he's seated right behind Sheldon Keefe. And maybe we can give you like a little erase board, and you could start drawing up plays, when they are just.
Can you imagine?
Or just the not good enough, like Shorts Guy has, the not good enough, and just hold it up,
Can you imagine if I was behind the bench?
Oh,
I've been behind the bench
rather quickly.
I think the last time I was behind the bench was I was dressed like Marty Brodeur when Sean Avery was on the Dallas Stars, and I think I was one of the few people that scared him. Sean Avery.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Mrs. Fields. We haven't kept up with the dessert race.
Oh yeah, they ended that crap. I mean, Mrs. Fields has been losing all the time. As soon as we started doing our own cookie race.
Oh boy, Pollock, what are you doing to me over here? Why are you suggesting such things? Sam loves his conspiracies. Has the NHL paid us to lose every fourth win to have a storyline for the playoffs. That's Pollock's suggestion.
Pollock, no, we suck, and there is no
We sucked
conspiracy here.
tonight. We don't suck in general. We definitely suck tonight, though. I think Pollock, it's not actually the NHL. It's actually us paying them to lose every fourth game, so Sam could come on here and rave like a madman. That's what it's all about. We're looking for some podcast clicks.
Yeah.
Little did you know. Cue the Mr. Burns gif. Excellent. They've lost again. Tell Sam Woo all about it.
Mrs. Field stock tanking. Yeah, just like all of our 401ks right now. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean,
we need a new inspirational mascot. Will Grimace make his appearance at the Rock? What other food products do we have there? I don't think they have a McDonald's at the Rock or anything like that. So
no, they don't.
Who can do the ceremonial? The Burger King? Can we get the Burger King to come out and drop the puck? We'll bring him back from like 10 years ago. Who else? Who else has a mascot?
I got a Mickey Mouse costume.
Oh, boy.
That's how this podcast started, was that Mickey Mouse costume somewhere.
Yeah, Max, I agree with you too. I think the Devils thought the Bruins were going to come out here and just, mail it in, and they were going to be able to walk all over them. But I also do think that they had an emotional high from the Rangers game, and they misjudged this matchup tonight. They thought they were going to play the way they played against the Rangers, but the Bruins had other ideas. Because let's face it, the Rangers' last game against us, that's what the Devils look like tonight.
Yep.
Because the Rangers looked completely uninspired when they played the Devils. And now the Devils, in turn, went and did the same thing. They were on that high, and they thought they were just going to coast like they did against the Rags. And the Bruins were like, sorry, don't think so. This team fuels the shots in my system. What about a beer can of Ann Crew Brew? Okay. Now we're talking. Can we get an Ann Crew Brew costume, Sam Woo, and have you dress up as that?
With the goal light helmet on top?
Yeah. Remember like the Karate Kid? He went to the costume party as the shower. What if we get like the shower costume, but the shower curtain is an Ann Crew Brew all around?
It's not a bad idea. It would promote the beer, especially during the playoffs. And if they start winning, the Ann Crew Brew sales will skyrocket.
Yeah,
a human-sized Ann Crew Brew can.
I think that's a good idea.
I think we need to go to the cans for the playoffs. I got to talk to Frank from American Whiskey. We got to go with the cans. Because
we got to figure this out.
We need
I think that's a good idea, though.
Can-do attitude.
We need an Ann Crew Brew costume, I think. That's who was missing from the race a couple weeks ago with the cookie, the ice cream, and the pizza. There was no Ann Crew Brew in that race. Mrs. Fields may have had some serious competition if an Ann Crew Brew was in that race.
Or maybe Mrs. Fields, the ice cream, and the pretzel should have been drinking Ann Crew Brew before they started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like Mrs. Fields might have been drinking Ann Crew Brew because she needed to stop every 2.5 feet to take a breather.
Mrs. Fields is a little obese, morbidly
And
obese.
actually, Ice Cream and Pretzel might have been drinking some Ann Crew Brew as well as they threw down into the fisticuffs there during the race. Oh, boy. All right. Well, craptastic game tonight. I hope they know that they better do better Friday night against Pittsburgh. Because, once again, Pittsburgh is a team that has those players that can come out there and they will hurt you. And they have a lot of pride as well. Sidney Crosby and Letang and all, they're not just going to roll over either.
Yeah.
So sweep it under the rug, but don't forget about it. No dwelling, but you better remember, you got to play a hell of a lot better than you did tonight. And wrap this up. And, of course, we'll be back Friday to talk all about it. We'll have Game Day Live, of course, with Vinny Parisi, the newest celebrity hockey player, shorts guy, who's now blocking shots on Colin White. And, he's got a new defensive partner there. He's replaced Billy Dean with Ken Danico. So good for shorts guy. But they'll be along for some Game Day Live. And, of course, Sam Woo and myself will be here afterwards, hopefully talking about a clinched Devils playoff position. Post-game Devils After Dark style.
Yeah. I can't wait till Friday. Because you know what happens Friday? It's Saturday. You don't have to go to work. Anyway.
That was a stretch, but okay.
Maybe the Devils thought it was Saturday today.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know, Scotty. This team, 1 minute you'll love them, the next minute you're like, what's the matter with them? But we'll have it all covered here on the Let's Go Devils podcast. I don't know, Scotty. I'll just leave it at this. They can start their new winning streak on Friday and have one more chance.
One more chance for 4.
Or maybe they'll surprise us in the playoffs and sweep. You never know.
One more to go to 4. There you go.
Till next time, let's go Devils.